Here are the basics of the Medicaid 5-year look-back rule. So how do I use this rule to help clients save 95% of their assets if they're a married couple, or around 45% of their assets if they're a single individual, or even in certain situations, 95% of a single individual's assets? So the basics of the Medicaid look-back rule is simply that Medicaid doesn't want you giving away your money before you apply for Medicaid. No improper transfers, improper gifting, like giving away your money to your kids so you come to them and say that you don't have any more money and you need the government to pay for your nursing home care. So for example, if you have $100,000 and yesterday you gave $98,000 to your kids and now you only have $2,000 in your bank account. So you go to Medicaid and you say, hey, I have no more money, pay for my nursing home care. So Medicaid obviously is going to say, well, that's ridiculous. You had $100,000 yesterday. Why should the government pay for your nursing home care? Either we're going to penalize you and you're not going to get Medicaid coverage for a certain amount of time, and you're going to have to figure out a way to pay for nursing home care, or go back, get the money that you gave away, and use that to pay for your care. However, what do Medicaid attorneys do? We don't get around the rule, so to speak. The rule is always there. But Medicaid themselves, in the rules, give legal ways that you're allowed to transfer assets. They're not considered improper. They are proper transfers, and Medicaid themselves spell it out. So one example that's more known is that a married couple automatically, the rules state that 50% of the assets are allowed to go to the spouse that is not in the nursing home. They cap it at like around $150,000, $155,000. So automatically, let's say a couple has $200,000 worth of assets, so 50% of that $100,000 automatically goes to the spouse that's not in the nursing home. So that's already 50%. And a lot of times there's a home which is exempt. It's allowed to go to the spouse's name. A car is exempt. IRAs in Ohio are exempt, which is huge, which means that could be literally already 70 to 80% of assets could be saved initially. Okay, it has to be done properly. So even for, I guess, a simple case, you need a Medicaid attorney because you need to do it properly. You don't want to start messing around and giving money away and all that, because if you don't do it properly, it really can mess things up. Now, there are lesser known exceptions as well. For example, there's something called a Medicaid annuity, which is illegally allowed in Ohio, that allows you to transfer even more assets to your spouse. It only works for a married couple. But I'm not going to get into the details. This you need a Medicaid attorney for without question. You cannot do without a Medicaid attorney. It's extremely complicated. The timing has to be perfect. And this could potentially allow you to transfer tens of thousands of dollars over to your spouse, more than just the 50% that's initially allowed in the rules. Medicaid allows, in the rules, to create a Medicaid annuity to transfer even more assets. So that's one huge rule. And the second one, which is not as well known, but it's pretty basic, and it applies for married couples or a single individual, that if they have a child who has a disability, you could transfer assets to them. And in this case, even for a single individual, you could potentially save 95% of their assets because you're allowed to transfer, set up a trust, let's say, for a child with a disability. This is basic. I've had calls from nursing homes where they said that a person does not qualify for Medicaid. I would ask them, do they have a child with a disability? They said yes. I said, well, then they will most likely qualify for Medicaid, even though they have too many assets. Super simple, super basic, but people just don't know this. So this is the Medicaid 5-year look back, but we're not getting around the rule. We're using the rules and using the exemptions that the law lay out to help protect assets. And that's why it's crucial and critical to hire a Medicaid attorney when applying for Medicaid.